welcome to CEO.CA. My name is James Petham, and today I'm joined by Andrew Thake, Divisional Director at Minds and Money. Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you very much for your time, James. Delighted to be talking to you.
Very excited for the upcoming Resourcing Tomorrow event in London. Wondering if you could give us a bit of backstory, about the growth of the events and the company, and maybe also your history. How long have you been at the company, and how did you end up in this sector?
Well, Minds and Money and Resourcing Tomorrow is owned by Beacon Events. Beacon Events is primarily a mining and natural resource focused events company that's been in existence for over 15 years. We run a number of large events in the mining and natural resource space globally. We run IMARC, International Mining Resources Conference, which happens every year in Sydney, which is this year's running at the end of October. We run a Minds and Money Miami event, which runs at the end of February, which is now coming into its second year. We also run an event in Riyadh at the start of January, which is our Future Minerals Forum, which is running in conjunction with the Saudi government. And last but by no means least, we run Resourcing Tomorrow, taking place on the 28th to the 30th of November. I've been with the company now for, about 9 years or so, and been enjoying it for every single moment. It's just such an exciting industry to be in, James.
Thank you so much for that overview. And personally, I wasn't aware of the Riyadh event, and it seems like you're going more global every year. I'm wondering, obviously CEO.CA is going to be in attendance, and we're very excited to be conducting some interviews and filming on site at Resourcing Tomorrow. Can you give us a sense of what to expect in terms of attending companies and investors, and overall, what size of event and what scope can we expect?
In terms of the size of event, last year we had 2,255 attendees. We're looking for an even bigger attendance this year. Specifically on the mining companies, we're looking at over 170 mining companies in attendance, and we're very, very broad in terms of the attendance of the mining companies who will be coming to Resourcing Tomorrow. By that I mean is, of course, we go and get the junior mining companies, both gold and precious junior mining companies, also critical minerals and battery metals mining companies, and also base metals as well. But we also find we're increasingly getting the larger developers, early stage producers, mid-tiers and majors attending as well. And we've got 15 of the 25 largest mining companies globally also attending this year as well. So if you are an investor looking to attend, it doesn't matter if you're looking at the latest exciting exploration stage story, or whether you're looking at sort of an established mid-tier or major. We'll probably have something on the program and a mining company available for you to go and do a one-to-one meeting with and go and find out more and potentially make a new investment.
Sounds like there's really the full spectrum available for both potential investors and also companies looking to beat other organizations in the space. I'm wondering, obviously last year you had this kind of rebrand and the focus on Resourcing Tomorrow. How does that fit into the evolution of the company, and what comes next?
Before 2020 and before COVID-19 hit, the event was called Minds and Money London. And it was a great event, and it did exactly what it said on the tin. It was really primarily a junior mining investment show, and it attracted in big load of junior mining companies from all over the world, whether they're TSX listed, they're ASX listed, companies from Africa, America, Australia, etc., etc. It was great. But we decided that we wanted an event that sort of like appealed to the whole of the industry, that also brought in the majors and mid-tiers, also brought in the governments, also brought in other key players within the whole mining value chain. And probably just Minds and Money just sounded a slightly outdated sort of like brand name. So we started the evolution last year, James, where we brought in the Resourcing Tomorrow brand name, because we also wanted to talk about issues such as critical minerals, issues such as the mining policy surrounding critical minerals and the role that governments have to play, ESG and sustainability. how we can go and build a more inclusive workforce. So we wanted all those topics brought in. So that really kind of involved a slight sort of reframing of some of the format and reframing of some of the content. Now, it still means that if you attend Resourcing Tomorrow Today and you're only interested in junior mining, we've still got 120 junior miners either presenting or exhibiting on the floor, so you'll have more than enough to occupy yourself over the 3 days. But if you are kind of interested in looking at critical minerals, ESG, sustainability, we've got content that specifically focuses and addresses that. And also we have our Reimagining Mining theatre stream, where we specifically talk about issues surrounding technology and innovation. So that could be artificial intelligence, that could be big data, that could just be innovations in mineral processing, because we kind of recognise that beacon events, that how we go and do mining technology and how we innovate is also becoming very, very important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see that innovation is a big focus of the events. Could you tell us maybe a bit more about the programming at this year's event? So are there going to be keynote speakers or key themes being discussed throughout the program?
In terms of the program has 3 theatres of content. So in the Resourcing Tomorrow theatre, which is kind of that's our main theatre where we get a lot of the big name CEOs speak. So people like Mark Bristow of Barrick, people like Mark Kudafani, the chair of Vale Base Metals, people like Robert Friedland, chair of Ivanhoe. So we all have those kind of big sort of like bigger name hitting sort of speakers. That's where we have topics discussed, such as critical minerals, such as how we go and meet the supply gap for these critical minerals, topics such as how we go and finance and power the energy transition, and also these topics on ESG and sustainability that are just so important to the industry. Our second theatre is all about reimagining mining. Got some great case studies from leading mining companies such as Teck Resources in Canada, also Civic Mining based out in Australia as well. And also within that, we've got lots of really exciting content. We've got a tech pitch battle where we have a number of tech innovation startups pitching for money from our sort of like our established lineup of judges. And last but by no means least, we have the Mines and Money Theatre, which is where we have the junior mining spotlights. We'll have about over 80 of our junior miners will be presenting, giving updates on their projects, why you should go and invest in them, and that will also be interspersed with commodity updates, whether it's on gold, whether it's on uranium, whether it's on lithium, and we also have our mining pitch battles as well. The investors who attend can also then go and pre-schedule meetings with some of these miners if they want to go and meet up with them on site. And they have the opportunity of doing 30-minute one-on-one meetings with the mining CEOs, and hopefully that can be a gateway for them in order to make a new investment.
Excellent. Sounds like there's a really wide range of programming this year, and very interested to see the startup pitches as well. I think that's a great addition. I'm wondering, obviously there's huge disruption to the in-person events industry over the last few years. What's it like being full in swing now, this year, second post-COVID Mines and Money Resourcing Tomorrow event in London? What does that deliver, and what does that kind of add to the industry that was maybe lost during those COVID years?
I think first and foremost, it's just good to be back and to be doing in-person events. And I think also one has to also say that at the start, the online events were not a bad thing. They were our only way of communicating with one another, and they helped us and they helped the industry get through a very, very tough period of time. However, if I had to critique them, the challenge was when we did our online events, and gosh, we did about 15 online events over the course of about 2.5 years. They were very successful at making connections between miners and investors. They were very, very good at helping that deal get from first base to second base. But I think when you speak to an investor, they will very rarely make an investment unless they've met that mining CEO in person, or unless they've gone to that project on site in person as well. So with the return of in-person events, it really helps get those deals done. So to me, that is the really sort of like big win. I think it is also just the sharing of ideas as well. Is you can have some great content, you can deliver great content online, but it's often being in the flesh, being face to face, getting the chance to ask that speaker kind of questions after after his or her presentation. The whole networking you get on site, and it's very hard to do networking over a Zoom call, and you get the added serendipity of just bumping into people in person as well. So the services that say like a CEO.CA provide are absolutely fantastic, and the online events that we do are really good, but nothing beats meeting in person.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, it's funny. You mentioned those kind of chance interactions, bumping into people. I am always amazed at how frequently those can turn into meaningful relationships that only really happens at these in-person events. So I guess just to close out, London as a mining hub, obviously there's a lot of activity in Australia and Canada these days. Walk us through how did you land on London as one of the key events as part of the Mines and Money series?
London has always historically been a mining hub, and it's also historically been a very strong investor base, a very strong institutional investor base. So it's always had that cachet, which is kind of had for over the last like 20 years or so. On top of that, I think also specifically with regards to Africa, it's often seen to be the de facto centre for African mining finance. Geographically, its location kind of works in that if you are a Vancouver or Toronto-based TSX listed company, or you are a Perth-based or Sydney-based sort of ASX listed company, we are kind of in the middle. So it's like it is sort of like a good place to it is a good place to go. So it just works as a geographical location. I think also as well that a big philosophy that we have at Beacon Events is that PDAC, North America has PDAC, Africa has Indaba, APAC, Australia have IMARC. It would be great if we had an event that was sort of 8,000 people and wasn't just Europe's largest mining event, which is what a Resourcing Tomorrow already is, but if it was a really large event where we had 4,000, 6,000 people. And don't get me wrong, James, is places like Paris or Berlin or Barcelona are great centres, European centres, but I think that London kind of like edges it. So really, really want to build Resourcing Tomorrow into not just Europe's sort of like premier mining event, which it already is, but have it as an event that's seen to be on a similar tier to a PDAC or to an Indaba or to an IMARC.
We'll be keeping a close eye on the growth of that, and I'm sure it will attain that status of a global draw. I'm wondering, is there anything else, Andrew, that we haven't discussed that people should know about the upcoming event in London?
Well, I guess other than the obvious plug that it's never too late to go and sign up. Our website is resourcingtomorrow.com. If you go on there, you can see a list of all the mining companies who are already signed up, all the investors. You can see a list of like all the speakers. I think we've got about 250 speakers and about 70 sessions of content. Also, if you go and register to come, there's also a gala dinner and also our awards as well. So don't forget to go and sign up for that. And hope to see you there the 28th to 30th of November.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We can't wait to be there ourselves in person, and hope to meet you in person at the end of November.
Thank you very much for your support, James.